video, I'm going to be showing you how to make these cards using Sale-A-Bration items. And this one I did in Smoky Slate, Blushing Bride, and Daffodil Delight. Today's card we're going to be doing in Melon Mambo. And I'm using all Sale-A-Bration items. And if you don't know, Sale-A-Bration is going on until March 31st. And for every $50 spent, you get a free Sale-A-Bration item. And so today we're going to be using this beautiful paper. It's the Perfectly Artistic Designer Series paper. And one side is like a nice marbly color and the other side is watercolor. So we're going to be using that. And then the Sale-A-Bration Stamp Set Flowering Fields, we're going to be using 2 stamps from that. And the Sale-A-Bration Stamp Set Perfect Pairings, we're using the Thank You stamp. So let's get started. We're going to take a piece of Melon Mambo that is 5.5 by 8.5. This will be our card base. And I'll have all the dimensions and products I use on my blog, which will be linked in the description below if you're on YouTube. Set that aside. And then now I have a piece of Whisper White, and we're just going to be sponging the edges of this in Melon Mambo. I also have Pear Pizzazz here. We'll be using that a little bit later. That's done. Set that aside. And then this is the Designer Series paper. This side is Blushing Bride, and the other side here is the Melon Mambo. I set that aside for now. And I also have another piece of Melon Mambo and a piece of Whisper White. This is what we're going to be stamping our image on. I'm using StazOn. You could also use the Memento Ink Black stamp ink pad. And we're going to be using that because I'm using a blender pen to color in the images. Just ink up your stamp, and I stamped it a little bit towards the right, and then the other one, and just a little bit towards the left. And I have a blender pen here, and first I'm going to be doing the Melon Mambo part on the flower. And when I use the blender pen, some people like to squish their ink pads and get all the ink in the lid, and I do that with the aqua painter. With this, I feel like I don't need as much ink, so there's a little lip here in the ink pad, and I just take and run my blender pen along the side of it. And I'm starting here at the bottom part of the flower because that's where I want the color to the darkest. Done. And then to clean your blender pen, I just run it along some scrap paper. And now we're going to take the Pear Pizzazz, and same thing, just run it along the lip of the ink pad. And start at the bottom, the darkest part. And as you go up, you run out of ink on your blender pen. It makes it lighter, it gives it kind of a gradient effect. Clean off my blender pen. And now we're going to stamp our image. I have a scrap piece of Whisper White here. I'm using Pear Pizzazz, ink it up. And now I have the 3/4 inch circle punch. And this barely fits in there, but it does fit. So you have to line it up, punch it out, and drop it on the floor. And take your sponge again into Melon Mambo. Just sponge the edges. And there's a dimensional is going to go on the back of that, but the dimensionals we sell are a little bit too big, so I'm going to cut it on the edge here. Cut one off, and it fits perfectly on the back. And I'm going to take a scrap piece of the Designer Series paper and the 1 3/8 punch. Punch that out. And then dimensional is going to go on the back of that. Center it. I'm just going to place it here, kind of offset it. And then the two of the largest rhinestone jewels. And then I'm going to sponge the edge of this again with Melon Mambo. Now we're ready to put, oh wait, one more thing. I have the Botanical Garden jewels here from the Occasions catalog. And adhere one of those with a mini glue dot. There, now we're ready to put our layers together. So I'm just going to take some Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue. And I like the Tombow because when you use snail or fast fuse, the first time you stick it down, it's pretty much stuck. Where this, you kind of have a little bit of wiggle room to work with. I'm going to take these layers here. And dimensionals for the back of this panel. I kind of like to offset it, stick it off to the side. And then just Tombow on the back of the whole thing. And then stick it to our card base. Oops, that's why I like Tombow. And that is it. There's all 4 of them. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and to subscribe, click here. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.